All right, have a great session.
Thank you.
I want you to think about your life, and I want you to think about your income. I want you to think about money. Money's subject that is a subject that a lot of people want to talk about. And when you do talk about it, a lot of people get defensive. They say, well, money's not everything. Well, that's sort of a ridiculous statement. Of course it's not everything. But money's important. It's very important. I frequently ask the person if they come to work with me, what's the most you've ever earned in a year? I really don't care what the answer is, but I want to know what the answer is. Because when they tell me the answer, what they're doing is telling me where their mind is programmed with respect to money. See, our mind is programmed. You're working with a program, I'm working with a program. Now, most people are working with a program that someone else built. They are the production of somebody else's habitual way of thinking. I'm going to suggest that you can rewrite the program. The problems that you're facing, maybe the lack of money, or the loved ones telling you you're crazy, you're wasting your time, get a job. What do you do? If you've already got it, it's really good to hear it again. If you haven't got it, you're going to love it. It's really about how to create all you want. You have to have multiple sources of income. You can go back to the ancient Babylonians, as far back in ancient history as you can go, and you're going to find that the wealthy people all had multiple sources of income. 3% of our population are earning 97% of all the money that's being earned. Everybody says that's.
Hey, I don't know if you heard, but we just had a big development in the unfolding Spygate investigations. It's just been revealed that the Justice Department's investigation.
It's unfair. Well, it's based on a law. That's really what it's based on. Our income is the harvest of our production. That's really what it is. But 3%, some of those 3% are not very well educated insofar as we look at education. Some of them are functionally illiterate. They can neither read nor write. Now, some of them are absolutely brilliant. But you're going to find people that are absolutely brilliant that fall into the 97% category that have to split up 3% of the money that's earned. Why and how does this happen? My income went from $4,000 to $175,000 in a year. And it was based on the concept that I want to explain to you here. But what we have to understand is that the earning of money is something that doesn't happen by accident. Wealthy people historically have always had multiple sources of income. This isn't an accident. It's by design. You can design this. There is an absolute law governs compensation. We know that there's a law. If I let this go, you know it's going to fall. If I let this go, it's going to fall. It's not going to go up. It has to go down. It has to go down. That is an absolute law. It's called the law of gravity. That's a law of the world. The law of compensation is a law. And it's very exact. I want you to really pay attention to it because this law clearly states that the amount of money you earn is in direct ratio. It's in exact ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. You see, in my particular business, there's the opportunity to earn millions of dollars, and I have earned millions of dollars. Not because I'm smarter than the next guy, and it's not because I'm lucky. It's because I find myself in a field where there's a tremendous need for what I do. When you find a tremendous need, and then you develop your ability to fill it, you've got to become very, very good at filling the need. Take a bucket of water and put your hand in up to the wrist. When you pull it up, the hole that remains is just how much you'll be missed. You can stir all you want as you enter. Stir up the water galore. But stop and you're going to find in no time. It's much the same as before. Well, what they were getting across is there's no such thing as an indispensable person. But some people are very difficult to replace. And if you make up your mind you're going to get really good at this, you just want to focus on your ability to improve. Become a master of whatever you're doing. Now, this is the focus. The money is the reward. This is the cause, the money is the effect. Take care of the cause, the effect will always take care of itself. Think of Elvis Presley. His estate is still earning money from records of his that are being played on the radio. And those recordings are being played on the radio, and every time they're played, money goes into his estate. That's called a passive income. That's called a source of income. Well, you can start sources of income. You can start them all over the world. You may say, well, how? Well, you don't have to know how. You just have to make a decision that you're going to do it. The how will come. Don't let the how trip you. And once you get one going, then you get another one. See, I believe you can set up sources of income that are very closely attached to what you're already doing. You may say, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, of course you don't. Not to start with. I didn't know how to do it when I started. I didn't even know how to read very well when I started. I hadn't gone to school. I had 2 months high school. I had no business experience. How did I start? I'll tell you exactly how I started. I borrowed $1,000. I bought a used forming machine and some buckets and mops. I started in the cleaning business. And I started by cleaning one office, washing the floor twice a month, $15 a time. Then I got another office at $65 a month. Now I'm up to $95. I was only earning $400 a month to start with. But you know, one day I passed out in the street. I thought the answer was work.
If it were easy to make money in the stock market, everybody'd be doing it. They're not rich, and you know there's a reason why.
Work harder, get another office to clean. But it didn't work that way. I was exhausted. I thought the answer was work harder. That is not the answer. I realized it was like something inside of me said, Bob, you're doing something wrong. And then another little voice said, if you can't clean all of them, don't clean any of them. Do you know, over the next 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, London, England. And the income was just rolling in from all over the place. Now, I'm not telling you to go clean offices. I'm telling you that I stumbled on something. It took me 10 years to find out what I was doing different. I had set up multiple sources of income. Now, as you set these up, you'll be asking, well, are they all the same size? Do you earn the same on all of them? No. Some of them won't even work. Some of them will die on you. There's so many ways of doing it. You could become a network marketer. You could become an online marketer. You could become an affiliate marketer. See, you want to make a decision that you are going to set up multiple sources of income. You don't have to know how. When you make the decision, you will start to attract how you're going to do it. Some of them will grow and some of them will die. But you know something? They all have one thing in common. They all flow into your bank. Some will be big and some will be small. It's absolutely phenomenal how this works. It all flows into your bank. Great idea. Just an absolutely beautiful idea. That's right. That's where it happens. Now that's an affirmation I've been using for a long, long time. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. You keep repeating a positive statement. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Now, we started out by saying only 3% of the people earn 97% of all the money. So the odds of your kids growing up to learn how to earn money is pretty slim. If you don't teach them, they probably won't get it because they're not going to get it in school. School does not teach us how to earn money. There's no place they say, well, that's absurd. You go to work to earn money. No, you don't. That's not a good idea. You think you provide service to earn money. You can earn more money when you're sleeping than you can spend when you're awake once you get good at this. Now, we all get the same amount of time. We get all there is. So it's what we do with our time that's really going to make the difference. 3% of the population are following this strategy. It's where you invest money to earn money. How do they do this different? They set up multiple sources of income. They multiply their time by setting up multiple sources of income. Now, if you really want to win in a big way, that's how you're going to do it. It's so basic and so simple. Well, you can learn more about it, but you want to study it. You want to study money, multiple sources of income, MSIs. There's no end to what you can do. There's absolutely no end to what you can do, but you've got to decide what you're going to do. Sit down and write out how you want to live. And it doesn't matter what it costs. You write it down, and then you only think of how to do it. And you set up multiple sources. Now, let's suppose you have never touched a computer in your life, and you're going to
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ECC 11 training. The strategy that was created by the Queen of the Cloud, Dr. Kathy Kirkland. I'm Theresa Webb, and we're going to make this simple for you today. So, just for my purposes, can you hear me okay? If you can just indicate in the chat if you can hear me okay. If you could just put a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you. Now, the next question I have, is there anyone that is new to this training, haven't been on here before? Put a 111 in the chat if you're new to this training. Okay. Are you new to, is there anyone here that's new to the ECC 11 strategy? Put a 111 in the chat if you're new to the ECC 11 strategy. Okay, we've got a few. All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do first, what I'd like to do is just take a look at the market to see if in fact there's some trades that we can get into. I'd like for you all to pull up your vibrata and for you to look as well. So we're going to take a few minutes and do that to see what's moving, because there's a push in the market at around 9:30. So we definitely want to take advantage of that. And then once we do that, then we'll come back and we'll go over the settings for the ECC 11 strategy on for vibrata. Screen sharing has stopped. Okay. So if in fact you see anything moving, if you could just indicate so in the chat. So a lot of consolidation right now. I'm looking at some JPY pairs as well. Since this is the Asian session. Okay, I don't see anything moving right now. One of the first things, I'm coming back to my desktop. One of the first things I like to do is to make sure I know if there's any news occurring during this period of time. So on my phone, I'm just going to go to forexfactory.com to see if there's any news around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And there does not appear to be any. Okay. Then the next thing I do is I go to FinViz, V-I-Z, Fin, FINVIZ.com to see which pairs are strong. Once you get to that site, all you have to do is click on Forex. And it looks like EURGBP and USD CHF are buying for a long for now. So that gives us some idea of what pairs we should be looking at. So for those that are new to Vibrata, new to this training, what I'd like to do is show you how to set up the Vibrata for the ECC 11 strategy. One of the first things you'll need to do is click on strategy. If you could just follow my cursor that you can see at the bottom, it says strategy, just click on there and it will take you to a window that allows you the ability to pick a strategy. So where you see the up and down arrows, just click there and you'll see Dr. Kathy's ECC 11 strategy. That is the first strategy. Just click on that, save it for mobile, Safari desktop, and then save settings and reload. Click on that. Okay, so you're hearing a cha-ching. This is your alarm, and this is your window that calls your trade signal, your trade ideas. If in fact this window is red, well then clearly this is a sell. If in fact the window is green, it's a buy. You see time frames above the windows, above the window. I have deselected the M5 time frame because clearly what that means is the way this algorithm is has been set, that if in fact you actually trade on if in fact you put in a trade based on a trade idea on the 5-minute time frame, well then you only can get about 3 to 5 pips. I personally, if that's all you want, well that's fine, you can keep that checked, but I personally like to trade on the M15, the H1, the M4 time frame, because that allows me the ability, based on the way the algorithm is set, to trade for 10 pips. And all these time frames mean is that each candle represents like 15 minutes. Each candle represents an hour if you're on the 1 hour time frame. And if you're on the 4-hour time frame, each candle represents 4 hours. Okay, so basically, over to the left, if you have the London payout, all you have to do is click on LP, that stands for London payout, and you'll see the trade ideas that have been called. And it's important to pay attention to the time in which they are called, so you'll know whether or not this is a good trade idea for you to take at that time. All you have to do is close that. There are 4 buttons at the bottom of each window. The first one is the Forex pairs, which we have selected right now. The second one is for cryptocurrency pairs, any trade ideas associated with cryptocurrency. The third one is your indices, your US 30, GER 30, Japan 225, etc. And then the fourth one is your metals, your silver, your gold, etc. Okay. Okay, so then when a trade idea, when I get an alarm, a cha-ching for a trade idea, what I would do is first click on this little blue circle. And what that does is bring up the pair. This particular pair is EUR USD. It's on the 4-hour time frame. That means each candle represents 4 minutes. I'm going to try to clear this up a little bit so it's not so jumbled. There you go. So what I would do is, that I'm looking at time past, because I like to take a trade idea when it's in the first 3 to 5 minutes. So what I would do is click on the trend line, click on horizontal line, and just click on the space of the chart. Just any space, anywhere is okay. And your line will appear. You click on settings. And what you're going to do is look at the called at price on EUR USD. And that called at price is 1.10533. And all you do is click OK. And that lets you know that this is the time that the price was, price occurred. Then you know that you're going for 10 pips because it's on the H4 time frame. So what you would do is go to your trend line, click on horizontal line, click on the space, any space on the chart, go to settings, and you would add 10 pips to their current price, which would make it 10633. Now that gives you an idea of where price should be selling. Now, this occurred 44 minutes ago. As you can see, this trade has already probably taken profit because it's already gone from, wait a minute, I did that wrong. Oh, I did that really wrong. Okay, when you're selling, you're subtracting 10 pips from the called at price. Sorry about that. I thought that looked kind of strange. But anyway, so we're going back to the trend line. Select the horizontal line. We're going to just click anywhere on the chart. Okay. What am I doing? Let's try this again. Go to the trend line. Click on the horizontal line. There it is. Click anywhere on the chart. Go to settings. Your called at price was 1.10533. Your take profit would be 1.10433. Got it right this time. And then as you can see, this is your top line is your called at price. Your bottom line is your take profit. Looks like it threw a wick. So this probably has already hit take profit. As you know, the market retraces quite a bit. So therefore, it looks like this last candle is a red candle. Zoom in it a little bit more. And it may retrace and still go to this take profit price. That's a possibility. But anyway, so we've gone through the window, showed you how to set your take profits and use the lines, the horizontal lines, to help you know when to enter the trade and to know where your take profit is. One of the other things I like to talk about are the lines associated with the cloud. As you know, this is the Ichimoku cloud, and you want to ensure that your settings are correct. Oftentimes when you first pull up the vibrato, your settings are 926.52, but you want your settings to be 613, 2613. If you need to change those settings, just click on the settings right here. And what you'll do is click over to inputs, and you can change your numbers right here. It's just a matter of just changing it to 613, 2613. And then what you want to do is click on defaults, save as default, and click OK. The other thing you want to do, which I shouldn't have gone out of settings, but go back into settings, click on style, and oftentimes first time in vibrato for the ECC 11 strategy, your conversion line is going to be blue. So you want to change that to red. And at the same time, and all you have to do is just click on it. The colors will come up and you can change it to red. The thickness of the line, I like for my line to be thick so I can see it. The thickness you can change right at the bottom. Okay. Your baseline, you want that to be blue. Just click on it, change it from red to blue. And then you want to, if you like, you can change the thickness of your blue line. The lagging span, which is what Dr. Kathy calls the money line. It's already green, just leave it green, but I do recommend changing the thickness of your line so that you can always see it, because that money line is everything. It is my #1 indicator, and I'll explain why in just a second. Okay. So basically, look at the chat right quick to see if there's any questions. Yes, this is a 4-hour chart that we have on EUR USD. Okay. One of the things I like to talk about are the 3 lines. The money line is really called the Chiku span. Some people will refer to it as the lagging line. But what you will find is that this particular line, the money line, is the first line that lets you know where the direction that price is going. You know, money flows 3 ways. It either flows up, it flows down, or it flows sideways. And you do not want to trade when price is going sideways. The red line is called the signal line. And, you know, there are Japanese terms for these lines, but I know I'm going to mess up the names. But the red line is called the Tenkan-sen. But we refer to it as a signal line. What happens is the green line, the money line, lets us know which way price is going first. And then the candle follows the money line. And then what happens is the signal line kind of pushes the candle and lets you know what direction that candle is going. And then the blue line, if in fact you use a stop loss, I personally don't use a stop loss, but if in fact you use a stop loss, if you don't know where to put your stop loss, oftentimes you can use the blue line to determine where to set what price to set, and just follow my cursor, what price to set your stop loss. Okay. But now in terms of stop losses, I think the strategy that we're using now is to put your stop loss when your trade is in profit. Once your trade gets into profit, then set your stop loss. And that way, if in fact price pulls back, as it often does, and takes you out of the trade, it takes you out of the trade in profit. And then you can always get back in the trade if that occurs. Okay, let's see if there's any questions. Are there any questions for anyone that's new? Do you have any questions? Or anyone that's not new, do you have any questions? Okay. This is the time to ask. I don't know everything, but I do know enough to make money. And Dwayne Lodge is one of my Chairman 10 leaders, and he always says, there's three types of people. There's three types of trader. There's a trader that wants to know everything. There's a trader that just wants to know enough so they can reach a level of excellence. And then there's a trader that doesn't have the time and just wants to copy and paste. Well, I fall somewhere in the middle. And do I use a vertical line? Yes, I do use it sometimes. I don't use it as often. But to use the vertical line, all you have to do is click on the trend line, click on the vertical line, look at the window to see what time price was called. Price was called at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock would be, 2100 military time. So you click to get your vertical line. You move it over to today's the 23rd or 24th. I'm trying to get it at 2100, but it's not going there. That's the closest I can get it. And you just set your vertical line there. And that lets you know the candle that price was called on. So I'm thinking that the price was probably called on this candle right here, since I only can get it on 2200. So I'm thinking that price was called on this candle, since it's a sale. And that's just lets you know what candle price was called at, so that you can look to the right more or less to determine when in fact you should get in the trade. The one thing about the money line is, and what I love about it is that I'm not necessarily a market structure person, but because I find the money line just tells me everything I need to know. At least for me it does. Like if price is going up, right now price is going sideways. You can see the money line is going sideways, price is going sideways. If in fact the money line was going up, I would look to the immediate left to see where price is going. So like say for instance, if this line was going up like this, I would look to the left, I would get my ruler, I would see if I could get 10 pips out of it. If I could, of course, I would get in the trade if price was going up. If price was going down, same thing. I look to the left to see where price had been to determine where price is going in the future to the right. So that's how the money line is used. It's very effective. And I love it. It's my, just like I said, it's my number one indicator. Let me see if there's any questions. It really shows price action. It lets you know where price is going. Because just like I said before, price goes, because the question was, what did you say the money line shows again? It tells you where price is going, which direction price is going in. It also forms the cloud. If you pay attention to the money line, it takes a little while for you to see it, but when you see the money line move, sometimes it's forming the end of the cloud. But it tells you which way price is going, whether price is going up or whether it's going down. And it allows you the ability to determine what price did in the past, so you will know where price is going in the future. Does that answer your question, Jude? The purpose of the vertical, as far as I'm concerned, there really is no other purpose than to let you know what candle the trade was called on. Can you explain where the money line will go in the future in comparison to where it went in the past? You know, Miguel showed me a really unique trick last night. He told me I would need to practice. I tried to practice the trick today and I couldn't do it. But I'm going to allow you the ability. Okay, Jude, great. I'm going to allow you the ability to just follow my cursor. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to try to find a trade that would be a good example. Everything's consolidating. Price, everything's consolidating right now. You know, you don't want to trade when price is going sideways. You want to trade when price is going up. When price is going up or down. I'm looking for something, a good example for you. Everything consolidating. Sideways. Let me see. Okay, let's try this example. If the money line was going, I look for sharp moves with the money line. So say for instance this line, and I just need you to follow my cursor because I don't know how to write on here with a pencil. But if this line was going straight up, okay, and say it went straight up to here, you see my cursor? Well, then I would look to the left, to the immediate left, to see what price was getting ready to do, what it did in the past. In the past, if I follow this money line from here, if I follow this money line from here to here, what I want to know is if it would give me 10 pips. So I would take it up to here. It give me 7.6, I'll take it up to here. Probably 10 pips, okay? Because this happened in the past, what you do, how I learned this money line was, I learned about ECC 11 prior to it being a part of the vibrata. But what we did was, Dr. Kathy taught us to trace the money line, the green line, and then use wax paper to trace it and then flip it over. And as you can see, price will be going to the right like it's supposed to in the same way it's going to the left, but only it's on the opposite side. So that lets you know, this is a man-made system, and no one is changing the algorithms. So therefore, you just always look to the past to see where price went to determine where price is going. So we've got a few trade signals that maybe we can try to get in. Both of them are under the H1 time frame. So we're looking at Nzd Jpy. So let's just take a look at this chart for a second. And it is a buy. It's a green window, which means it's a buy. So what we're going to do is click on the horizontal line, and we're going to see what's called at 72.471. So we're going to click on settings. We're going to type the called at price in this block, 72471. We're going to click OK. And we know the price was called there. You can take the vertical line if you like, and click on it. It becomes present. The time was 10 o'clock. The price was called. 10 o'clock is 2200. So we're going to place this at 2200. That lets you know that's the candle where price was called. And then we're going to, since this is a buy, we're going to add 10 pips to the called at price. So we're going to go to our horizontal line again. We're just going to click on any space on the chart. We're going to go to settings, and we're going to add 10 to the called at price, which would make it 57.1. Click OK. And now that you know that once the next candle, you want to wait on the next candle, we're on the hour time frame. Let's just go to the 15 and see what it looks like. Price is like, let me see if I can get rid of this. Okay. You can see that if in fact the next candle, there's 11 minutes left on this candle. So if in fact the next candle is a blue candle, you may want to get in it. Right now, the red line is below the blue line. I would wait until that red line crossed the blue line, because what we do know is that once the red line crosses the blue line, you're pretty much guaranteed 10 pips. That's what you'd be waiting on, but at least you have a visual to let you know. By putting the horizontal lines in, you have a visual to let you know when you're ready to jump in the trade. Okay, so it's obvious that it's a buy because the price is above the cloud on the 15-minute. Just like I said, this is the hour time frame. It may be some time before the next candle turns blue. It could very well pull back and then move forward. You just have to watch it and see. Let me see if there's any questions. Now, did I answer your question, Pamela? Regarding the money line and determining where it goes in the future? Did I answer your question? Pamela, are you still there? If you can just put in the chat if I answered your question. Okay. All right, I have a new trade. Okay, let's look at Nzd USD. It is the 1 hour time frame, but we can easily, just so you get used to, making sure you know when you want to get in a trade. Let's go ahead and put in a horizontal line here. We're going to click on settings. We're going to enter in the called at price on Nzd USD, which is 66210. Okay, and for those that like to use the vertical line, we can do that too. And price was called at 2200. So we're going to move the vertical line over to 2200. That's the candle price was called at. And then we're going to also put in our take profit, our line for our take profit. And we're going to add 10 to, what's the call price? 66210, and it'll be 6631. Click OK. And I don't know where my line went. 6621. 6621. Okay. Let's try this again. I did it wrong. Horizontal line. Click in here. Settings. 6631. Okay. There it is. Okay. So at least you know that for Nzd USD, right now you have a blue candle. And if it were me, let me go to the 15-minute. See if prices. Blue candle, yep. Go to the 1 minute. Blue candle, yep. I'll go ahead and get an Nzd USD if you all agree and want to get it. You can go ahead and buy Nzd USD for 10 pips. What I do is typically I'll go to the 1 minute. I'll always enter on the 15-minute time frame, but I do go to the 1 minute time frame to make sure that, like if it's a buy, that the candle is buying on the 1 minute. I'll also check the 5 minute, and I'll check the 15-minute to make sure both of them are, all 3 time frames are buying. And that's when I'll enter into the trade. So that's the one trade in for today. Let's see what else is going on. Okay. See if there's any questions. If last night's training was, it was recorded, I know, but if in fact it was posted, Shantae would have posted it in one of the chats. Put your cursor on the side and pull it down. Pull what down? Jay, what are you referring to? Is Jay there? I don't know what you're referring to. I'm sorry. Are you there, Jay? Okay. All right. Again, I hope that what I did from the very beginning when I first started trading was I always made sure that put your cursor on the side of the what I did was also make sure that I record all of my trades every day. And I indicated whether or not the trade actually took profit or whether or not it did not. Because just like I said before, the market, it repeats itself. And after 1 year, it allowed me to know, which trades out profited in the most based on the ones that I took. It was able for me to look and see which ones were my favorites. It allowed me to see things like which trades moved slower because I would kind of write down how many days it took. If I took a trade in, if I put in a trade maybe on the 15-minute time frame, did that trade occur in 1 day or did it take a couple of days for that trade to take profit? So those are kind of things that kind of help me determine what my favorite pairs were. And I do recommend, you're just getting started, but I do recommend that you just follow maybe one pair for a period of time, 1 or 2 pairs. Some people say 3, but I know that if you follow one pair, you learn the rhythm and pattern of that pair. I think it's just very helpful. Let's see. Can you go over the do you place the same horizontal and vertical lines with the same entry price on each time frame? Yes. So if I'm in the 4-hour time frame, typically I'm going to set it on the 15 because that's my entry point. But oftentimes with the vibrata, if in fact it is on the hour time frame, when you click on this little circle, the hour time frame is going to come up. Once you set the horizontal lines, when you go back to the 15 time frame or the 15-minute time frame, those lines are still going to be there. So oftentimes you don't really have to change them. They're still there. Now, if you change and go to another pair, the lines will disappear. But other than that, you can go from each time frame and the lines will still be there. Hopefully that makes sense, Trudy. Can you go over the call price you add or subtract? Okay. As an example with Nzd Jpy, the call price was at 72.471. Okay, my first horizontal line is going to be at that price because you'll know that's where when the candle gets to this line, you know that that's where you're looking to enter your trade when the blue candle gets to that line because it is a buy. When I put the second line in, I'm adding 10 pips to the called at price. So in other words, I would add, instead of it being my take profit would be 72.571. That's the number that I will put in. And that way, that lets you know clearly. You can look in and see how your trade is flowing. And you can clearly see when it takes profit if you're the type that likes to watch your trade. I think what I like about vibrata is that it teaches you the market while it's calling the trade ideas for you. You can literally learn about the market. And that's really what I like about it, and why I prefer this particular software package over others, because it allows you to do both. I'm a firm believer. Let's face it, I'm a baby boomer. I know that I think differently than millennials and some of the younger folks, but that's okay. That's what makes this world the world that it is. But I do believe that it's important for you to learn how to independently understand the market so that you're not dependent on anyone or a software package or anything like that, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. And if in fact you can learn the market, well, then what that does is allow you the ability to be able to be financially free, because you know that every day that you wake up, you know that you can get in front of this computer, look at the market, and make determinations based on your technical analysis where price is going, and you can make money. And that is what I like about the vibrato, because you really can learn about the market through this ECC 11 strategy. It is just so simple. And these indicators, whether the software package is here or whether it doesn't exist anymore, these same indicators are available on any MT4. So, and that's just what makes this, in my eyes, that's what makes this particular software package so special, because you really can earn while you learn. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay. Okay, so Jay, you're asking me. So first of all, Galaxy S8, did I answer your question? In terms of the call price adding or subtracting, if in fact it was a sale, if the window was red and it's a sale, I would subtract 10 from the call price. If it's a buy, I add 10 to the call price. Does that answer your question? I just want to make sure that I've made it clear for you. Okay, great. Jay, you said change your horizontal line for every frame. Are you asking me a question or are you making a statement? Jay? Are you there? Okay. Well, let's look and see if we can find some trades to get in. It is 10:19. Let's see what we can do here. If you see anything moving, please put it in the chat. Let's make some money tonight, guys. I'm just going over to my MetaTrader 4 to go through these pairs. I can go through them faster on my MT4 than on the vibrata. So you guys can look as well on the vibrata to see if you see anything that's moving. The more eyes we have on the market, the more apt we are to get paid. And when I'm looking to see if the market is moving, what I typically do is I'm actually going through every pair. to see if price is moving. And when I say if price is moving, I'm looking to see if there's a candle moving, if the price line is moving. I'm looking for some indication that there's movement in the market. During the Asian session, I am looking at JPY pairs first, and then I look at some other pairs like AUD, NZD, etc. When we're trading London session, I look at GBP pairs, EUR pairs. And when New York session, I'm looking at USD pairs. And I'm scanning the market to see if price is moving. And I hope somebody out there is having better luck than I am. I see one person in the chat. When a trade idea is called and you put the vertical line, do you wait until the candle crosses before you get in the trade? No, I wait until it kisses it. And I look to see how much time is left on the candle. Now, if in fact price is moving rapidly, I probably will jump in, regardless of how much time is on the candle. That's what I would do. But it's recommended that you make sure that the candle has formed at 12 minutes. And then that's when you jump in. Like say for instance, if the candle is kissing the line and the existing candle, there's probably about 7 minutes left on the existing candle. If price is not moving really, really fast, I will wait for the next candle. But if price is moving really, really fast, I'm going to jump in. Does that answer your question? In the Asian session, what pairs do I look at? Tokyo and London. In the Asian session, I'm looking at, JPY pairs, of course. London session, I'm looking at GBP, EUR, and anything else that may be moving. I mean, sometimes metals are moving, indices are moving. It just depends on what's moving, but I like those pairs, the GBP pairs during London session. Now, did I answer your question, Galaxy 8, as it relates to the candle crossing before I get in the trade? To be honest with you, I really do look at everything. I'm just one of those type of people that I just look at everything. I know that I know not to look at GER30. It's not going to move until, the London session. So I'm not going to bother with it. But metals, I'm going to look at XAU, I'm going to look at gold. I'm going to always look at US 30. During this session, I'll look at JPN 22. The indices, they typically run the same way. So whichever way US 30 is running, the other indices will run that same way. I'll also look at the S&P 500 as it relates to indices. Yes, I did, Galaxy. I did say that I wait until it touches the line. When it touches the line, and depending on how much time is left on the candle, I will get in. If in fact it's somewhere like around 7 minutes, 8 minutes, even 9 minutes left on the candle, I'll wait until the next candle. Because there's always that chance that it could pull back. And plus, I'm always looking at the green line because the green line will let me know whether or not the trade is going to pull back or whether or not it's going to keep going in the direction that it's called. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. I'm sure they want to get in another trade tonight. Anyone see anything moving? I'm looking. How many of you have live accounts, or do you have does everyone have a live account, or are you still in demo? Lavanya has a live account. Yes, we did. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Good. Perfect. One of the things I want to tell you about trading in a live account is, and I kind of learned this the hard way, but I really think it's a good idea to create, and this is just a suggestion, to create an account with your broker that you may not tie to the MT4 just so that you can secure the bag, so you can secure your profits. Because let's face it, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But with a loss, there's always a lesson. I have learned some valuable lessons from my losses. But, it's important that you want to secure the bag. So whether you do it weekly or daily, it's entirely up to you. As a matter of fact, my daughter just started trading live last week. And within that week of just, taking Dr. Kathy's trade signals, she profited $200, and she put that $200 in another account that she created just for the purpose of placing her profits there. And what that does is allow you the ability to really see, to see the benefit from what you're doing. So, that's just a recommendation. It's working well for me. I have several accounts that I use for different things, and I have assignments. Each one of those accounts have an assignment because I do believe that money has to have an assignment. But I just think that is a good way to secure your profits. Okay. That's just something that Theresa Webb just decided to add for the evening. Okay. All right. So it is 10:29. If there are no other questions, I wish we could have been able to get in another trade tonight, but you could barely hear what I said about a separate account to secure profit. Okay, what I said was, what I learned the hard way was, you're going to profit from some trades and you're going to have some losses. Your losses are always a lesson. I've learned some valuable lessons from my losses. But by the same token, you want to feel as if you are profiting as you're trading. And what I learned how to do was just to create a separate account that is not tied to an MT4 with my broker. And what I do is, on a weekly basis, based on my profits that week, I put my profits into that separate account. And you want to continue to be able to increase your regular accounts that you're using. And after it gets to some point, you may want to just put half of your profits in there. I mean, that's up to you to determine, but I just think that's a good way for you to see that you are profiting and that your accounts are growing. So does that make sense? Okay, perfect. No, it's not with my bank. It's actually with the broker that I use for trading. Yeah, I just put it there and I use it as I need it. Again, I assign for every account that I have, it has an assignment. As an example, I have an account for my car note, you know, that I'm going to take money out of that separate account once a month to pay my car note. So, I have an assignment set up for each one of my accounts that I have. But I also have, even though I'm trading with an account, I also have an account where I'm putting either half of my profit in because I want my trading account to continue to grow, or either sometimes I might put all of my profits into that one account that is separate from my trading account. Latifa, you say you keep losing well, first of all, the question regarding the separate account, did I make that clear? Trudy, was that clear for you? Okay, good. Okay, and Latifa, this is the last question I'm gonna take for the night. I keep losing the call trades, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but placing them just as they are called. I am hopeful I will get it. Well, again, like when you come on next week, again, we're going to go over, as long as you use your horizontal lines to determine your called price and your take profit price. If you're waiting until the trade touches the line, the candle touches the line, price touches the line, and you get in, if that's not working for you, wait until it crosses the line. And then we'll go over the money line again because maybe that'll be helpful to you. The only thing about the Asian session is it's a very slow session. It's one of the slowest sessions, so there's not a lot of volatility in this session. So, but hopefully next week, maybe, we can, really narrow down and be more specific about what you're doing so that we can help you, increase your profits as it relates to those trades. Okay? Does that work? Okay, great. All right, everybody, you have a nice weekend. Happy trading tomorrow. And we all live to trade another day. So thank you for hopping on the call this evening, and have a great weekend. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.